So on this video, I am going to really look at a personal statement, and I'm going to evaluate with this point. And when we are done with this, we are going to check if that personal statement is good enough to tick all of these boxes. Okay. Hello guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to be illustrating a typical personal statement, a typical award-winning personal statement for your consumption. This is the second video in this series, the second and last video in this series. If you haven't watched the first video, please go and watch it. Pause this one and go and watch it, because we've discussed lots of tips, we've discussed lots of tricks that you need to know before jumping in here to watch this one. Okay, so please go and watch that one and get used to the terms and everything that we discussed over there. Then you can come back and continue with us on this one. These are points that you need to consider while you're writing and after you're writing. So on this video, I am going to really look at a personal statement, and I'm going to evaluate with this point. And when we are done with this, we are going to check if that personal statement is good enough to tick all of these boxes. Okay, so this is a sample. Sorry about my voice. This is a sample of it. You can see that I have a different highlight for each paragraph, because each paragraph carries something different and they flow together. So this is a personal statement for MIA, International Security Policy. I like to start with a motivation. A lot of people usually come here and start from here, this introduction part, but I like to stop my personal statements with a motivation or a rationale or a problem. I don't know how to put it, but it's a problem, it's a motivation, it's a reason why you want to go into that career, or the reason why you want to achieve certain things. I like to start with that. You know why? I like to start with that because at this point, at this very first paragraph, the reader is already abreast of exactly your why. Okay, so at this point, he or she knows that, okay, this is what he or she is coming to study, this is why he or she is coming to study. Then that's fine, let's go ahead. The person is interested at this point. The person is like, okay, I like this, I want to continue, or I don't like this, I don't want to continue. So this is the first step, and it can really captivate the reader at this point. Do you get it? So you can write this part anywhere you like. Actually, you can write at the second or third paragraph, but for me, I like to put it here on the first paragraph. So the next thing is I'll just read this for you in case you cannot see it clearly. Several countries across the globe face diverse security challenges, including the establishment of violent extremist groups, transnational organized crimes, etc., all of which affect national development and international security. As the world races to build effective policies and institutions to maintain security, I'm concerned that Nigeria is far behind. For example, so you're giving a motivation and you're really telling them that this is what is happening, this is the statistics, this is the research. Research says that this is what is happening right now. Statistics says that these people have died, this number of people are kidnapped. So according to so and so, I like to put a reference. Some people do not mind putting references, but for me, I like to put a reference which is important in such a way that it helps them to know that you did not manufacture the figures, you got them from somewhere and from a legitimate source at that. So the United Nations Refugee Agency is a good source to cite when you're talking about internally displaced persons. So you get, this is a very good source, and you do not exaggerate anything, and they can go and check by themselves. You get. So the next thing is more crucial is the prevalence of international security policies, which makes for solutions to problems by providing defense policies to combat security challenges. Therefore, I am motivated to pursue a master's degree in international affairs, specializing in international security policy at the Haiti School of Governance, Berlin. So, at this point, this last sentence here, at this point, you've given them your motivation. You've even answered this first, you've even ticked this first box, which states that, does the statement make clear near the beginning what the applicant is seeking? So you've done lots of things on this first paragraph. You've told them your motivation, you've told them the problem that you were so passionate about, you've also stated your why, you've also stated what you want to study, the program and the school. So that's how I put everything in this paragraph. That's how I like doing it this way. Okay, so the next paragraph is introducing your academic interest. People like to start their entire personal statement from here, and that's fine. That's fine. They start with things like, when I was young, I went through this, I was able to learn or be inspired by my uncle who was a doctor, a medical doctor, and because of that I wanted to attain that stage. Or when I was very young, I was very good with repairing things, I was very good with mathematics in class, then I decided to go for engineering, that kind of thing. You can do that, you can say all of that here. Okay, so if you want to start your personal statement from here, that's also fine. So on this paragraph here, when you're introducing your personal and academic interests, you can also state your undergraduate dissertation in a very short sentence. Is very important, especially if your undergraduate dissertation is linked or similar or is connected to what you want to do. Okay, it's very important that you say that this is what you did in your undergraduate project, and then not just state it, but what it focused on and what the result was about in very short sentences. It makes them know that, okay, this person, first of all, he or she has that experience, that academic experience in this field, and he or she has been able to write something and brought out a result. You understand? So if it's similar, if it is connected to that field that you're going for, go ahead, that's a good thing. Please talk about your undergraduate dissertation. Okay, and you can also state the relevance like this person stated here. You can also state your result. If you had a good result in your undergraduate, that's very good. You can also state it here. If you did not write your undergraduate dissertation in something that is not similar, or if you did not do your undergraduate degree in something that is not similar to your program, your master's program, please, there's no need to do that. But if it's similar, please go ahead and write it. So this is the past experiences part. After your motivation and your personal academic interests, the next part will be your past experiences and how that has linked you to where you want to go to right now, how that has linked you to that master's degree program that you want to do. So what did you do after graduation? How did you learn? What did you learn? How did it impact your career objective? How did it impact what you want to do right now? So as an example, we're talking about international security policy, and this person has worked with the government in politics, has worked with the legislative team, This person has learned some courses. They took special courses and were able to get inspired by, Speaker of the House of Lords in the UK. So that is linked. Everything is linked together to what this person is aiming to study at the University of Haiti. Do you get? So this person is explaining how that chain of experience has led them to think about international security in a different way, and they want to further. So, and then they went further to talk about their masters. So this person did their masters in the UK, their first masters. This personal statement is for a second masters. If you do not have a first masters, that's beautiful, that's fine. You can take this part out, okay? But this person has a first masters, which is also connected and similar to what they are doing, which is also relevant, and so they put it there. This person also has a research assistantship experience, which is also good and very important. If you have a research assistantship experience, please make sure you put it in your personal statement, because it's interesting and they want to know more about you and what you've studied and what you've researched on. Okay, so someone like a healthcare personnel, global public health, he wants to do a master's in global public health. He can say here that he had his internship with a hospital. He did a lab experience with so and so institute, so and so laboratories. He was able to learn this during COVID-19. He took active part in helping the public to try and limit the spread of COVID, that kind of thing. Talk about those kind of experiences that you had, even if it's not in a professional manner. That's fine. If it's not professionally, that's okay, but try to not just talk about the experience. Try to link it to what you're doing and try to give the results of whatever that you have done during that time. You understand? Even if it's not professional, but if it's voluntary, if it's something you did in a small scale, that's fine. Talk about it and explain to them. It doesn't matter, as long as you really did that and you were really honest. That's what matters. Okay, please, if you do not have a relevant experience, please don't put it here. If the experience is not relevant enough in that field, don't put it here. But if it's similar, please go ahead. That's why I like to tell people that I'm quite very, very vocal about being eligible for a scholarship or being eligible for an admission. People think I'm too forward about it, but that's the truth. If you have done so many things in a particular field, that is where you should go ahead and apply. Okay, don't do something else and come and say you want a master's in something entirely different. How on earth can they give you that admission or that scholarship, especially if it is very competitive? So if you go and apply to Cambridge and Oxford and you say, Oxford did not pick me, I'm very good, like, what are the chances that they'll choose someone who has that experience, studied a similar course to you, who studied something different and had another kind of experience? You get? So when you complain that they didn't choose me, I wasn't picked, I wasn't given the admission, I wasn't given scholarship, come on, look at your experience. You should not lie, please. If you do not have an experience in that field, please don't lie and come and gather fake experience. No, but if you do have it, please go ahead. Also, about this research assistantship thing that this person did, they were able to do something interesting here. So when you talk about several things, don't just say you did this and you did that. They were able to come here, right here, and be critical about that research assistantship. So while they were doing that research assistantship, they had experience with coding tools, how to code data, and they came here and they really thought critically about the findings of their research and how it relates to international security policy. Okay, that was the same way the person talked about the findings of this undergraduate dissertation and how it relates to international security policy. And they came here too and talked about the findings or the process of this research and how it relates. So whatever you're doing, just be linking it, be linking it, be linking it. Okay? Very, very important. The next paragraph is back to your why. I would like to state here that you do not have to follow all these paragraphs, but I'm just trying to let you know by this video that each paragraph should contain things like this. Do you understand? So on this video we've talked about your motivation and your reason. So at this point you should go back again to your why, just to reiterate what's going on. And then also on this paragraph you need to talk about the university and your career goals. Okay, so this person is saying why they got or why they want a second master's and the motivation for that second master's. So if you're doing something different or you're trying another one again, you need to state the reason why are you doing the second master's. So say it, explain. So you at this point you would also talk about the university. Why the university? Yeah, so it's why the university, why the University of Haiti, why the Haiti School of Governance and not another university. Okay, you can also talk about ranking here. This is not correct, I just stated it here just so that you can see where it's done and how it's done. Yeah, so you state the university ranking and you also state the reference where you got it from. Okay, this is QS university ranking. There are different rankings, so if you want to use QS you have to also put the date. So there are different dates. It doesn't matter if you put a past date as long as it's honest and it's true. So some rankings may be different for each year. For example, that university may have 5th in the world in 2021 and may have 7th in the world in 2020 or anyhow it is. So you can choose the recent dates and then the ones that have very high ranking. For example, if in 2020 they got 15th in position and in 2021 they got 18th, you can choose the one for 2020, but just make sure it's written there and you stated the source. Okay, make sure you've stated the source clearly and the year and bracket it. So talk about the modules. If you have access to them, please talk about the modules. It shows that you have done some research on what you're going to study there. You don't just go to a university blank like that. Even if you've researched about the modules, just say it so they know that you've done that. Okay, it makes you stand out in a way. So they stated here the coursework. These are examples of coursework. You can make this in italics if you want, just so that the reader knows that this is a course, this is a module on its own. So just do it like this, you know, be more professional as you can. So talk about the modules that you can study, that you would like to pick up as an elective or any of that. You see how these paragraphs are very short, not long at all. And then you also talk about outside university environment. You can make this longer if you want. You can talk about the places you'd like to visit in 2 lines, please, not very much. And you have to talk about your career plan. This person didn't write their career plan here at this point, it was removed. So you can come here and talk about your career plan. So at this point where you talk about the university and the modules that you're studying, you then link it to your career plan, then you write it here. So for example, you're doing a science course, you're doing a master's in public health, or a master's in biotechnology and biochemistry. At this point you talk about the university and the labs, and how you read or you heard that the labs are very well equipped and it is the most equipped laboratory in town, and you know, that kind of a thing. You talk about the modules that you take, why you like this one and that one. All this is I'm saying, please, it's very short too. Make them short, please, very important. Don't spend so much time talking about one thing in one paragraph. Okay, so the next part, talking about faculty, is very optional. You can make it optional, you can add it to yours, that's fine. So this particular part, some people don't mind, but I put it here for people who are interested in adding this part in their personal statement, and I talked about it in my first video. Again, I would like to state that if you've not watched the first video, please help me improve my views. Go and watch if you need more clarification, and you know, you can also tell me where I did something wrong or where I need to improve. That's fine, I'm open to corrections. So this part, you're talking about your professors or your faculty. A lot of people do this and they don't really know how to, you know, make it critical enough. So we are going to talk about it right now. I find the research of Professor Anita Goltz, Faculty of Haiti School, interesting. You've introduced Professor Anita Goltz and that she's a faculty at this school. So when you talk about that faculty, you talk about their paper, a particular paper you read, how it interests you, and then you sample it. How do I mean sample it? This person sampled this paper here. Okay, first of all, they talked about, they give the full title. Whatever you do, please give full title of every paper that you're doing, and the year, very important. I always tell people, give full title whatever you're doing. If you're applying for if you're writing a cold mail to a professor and you're talking about a paper that was published, give full title. Don't give a reported is that the word, a reported name. Just give the full title and paraphrase it like this and phrase it like this. Okay, so in 2 lines or in 1.5 lines, this person summarized the entire work in 1.5 lines. So you don't need to do much here. 1.5 lines, the person just talked about what this paper was about, and then they sampled it. How did they sample it? They explained how they've thought about that paper critically and how it connects to their country. Now remember that we're talking about this country here, Nigeria, and at this point we are also talking about how this paper connects to this country, connects to what is happening in this country, and connects to security, politics, governance. Do you feel what I'm trying to say here? So they sampled it by saying that it resonates with the situation in Nigeria, as current President Muhammadu Buhari's government occasionally restricts access to the media using censorship and surveillance. Censorship and surveillance is part of security. For example, the use of Twitter has been banned in Nigeria for the past 6 months, only lifted recently this January. So this person sampled that sampled that paper by showing that they thought about the paper, they read it and they thought about it, and they linked it to what is happening in their current lives. Do you understand? So a lot of people, when they talk about this professor thing, they come here and they stop here. But when I read personal statements, I ask, after this place, what next? I always ask, what next, because a lot of people learn the basis and then that's the basis. You don't learn the basis and end. You learn the basis and be critical about it. So this person sampled it. So sample yours. Let's just say you read about the impact of certain enzymes on cancer or something like that. And then when you come here, you sample it. Okay, you can sample it in a different way using your own self, not just your environment. For example, reading somebody's paper on enzymes on cancer's impact, how enzymes impact cancer, whatever. Then you say you have done something similar to it, or in your own undergraduate you had a course about that thing, and you critically, remember to always be critical about it, you critically analyzed it, and you thought about, and it began to spike up questions, 2 lines. The question that you want to talk about, or the questions that it began to spike up, should just be 2 lines. And you know how you're thinking about it, and how you'd like to work with this lecturer later on, and how it has inspired you, that kind of thing. Okay, so talk about how you'll be proud to study in the university. Hype as much as you can, but when you're hyping, make sure you say real things, not fake things. For example, the university is close to a river, you like to swim, you like the beach, or it's close to a beach, you like the beach so much. Let it be close to the beach, for Christ's sake. The university is close to a museum, yeah, you like to visit museums, let it really be close to a museum. Talk about those things here, those extracurricular things at this part. After this part here, you can talk about it if you want, but me at this stage, I'm not really interested in those things, especially when I'm not applying for a government scholarship. Government scholarships may ask you those kind of questions and you have to say them, but for now, no. The Chevening scholarship, for example, may ask you about those extracurricular things, because the Chevening scholarship is less academic, is more of networking, leadership, outside thing. So they might ask you that, and you have to put all those things in there. So after this, I don't know, you can add other things if you want, but me, I like to just conclude at this point. Talk about when you are accepted to the program, what you will do. I like to add more things here, but I just want this to be below 900 words. So talk about when you get into the program, what you will do. You influence learning outcomes, because it's very important. Okay, you need to let them know that you are a spec, and it's a win-win situation, because when they choose you and not the other person, what will you do? Are you just coming there to be a liability? Are they just going to teach you and then that's the end? No. All that you say here should make them should convince them enough that when you join their team, when you join the program, you're not going to take, you're also going to give. You're going to influence learning outcomes for your peers, because you did this, you did that, you have experience. You're also going to join your lecturers in research, that kind of thing, contributing to the department's highly ranked research. You should add more here if you want, if possible, please add 2 or 3 lines here. Yeah, in one of my personal statements, I actually stated that I had an experience in mental health. Yeah, I really have an experience in mental health, and it was a volunteering experience, but I used that to tell them that I know how to speak to people with mental health issues. I've worked with people like that, and I know that academic experience, the academia as a whole, is not easy. Students can find it depressing, and I will help my peers to encourage them. I said it in one of my personal statements. I don't mind. Sometimes you don't have to make your statements very rigid. Try to look at it from a view. Just go back a bit and look at it as if you're not an academic. I don't know if you understand what I'm just saying, but do it outside the box. do things that they'll say, okay, this person is just it. Like, you're good enough, you inside and outside, inside the academia, outside the walls of the university. Just make sure that they know that you're one of a kind. That's just it. The word count is 900, less than 900 actually. I spoke about word count in my previous video, so you can go right there to watch it. If you have so many questions to ask, they are all in that video. Go and watch it. This is the part 2. This is the part 2. Please just go and watch that one and see what you find. Okay, so let's go right to the critical evaluation for the essay, each of them. Look at it and see how these boxes have been ticked. Does the statement make clear near the beginning what the applicant is seeking? Yes, it does. Does the statement explain why the applicant is interested in the opportunity? Yeah, this is the motivation. It explains it. Yeah, why? Based on the troubles that are happening in Nigeria. Yes, it explained it. Does the statement address ways that the applicant will bring benefit to the program, field, broadly, or university community? Yes, it considered the reader's interest. At this point where I stated that you should talk about how they will also benefit from you being in that program, not just what you receive, but what you can give to them, your skills, your experience, your distinctive knowledge of what is going on in the program or in that field. Does the statement explicitly connect past experience with future intentions? Yes, it does. At this point where this person talked about past experience, and you can see here that they connected it from here, and here. It went further to talk about what they are currently doing and how it will benefit this thing that they are trying to do. They are trying to impact security policy. So this past experiences here connects to security policy, and then it went further to talk about everything here. So it connects and it's linked together. Does the statement have a clear structure and paragraphing method according to IDs? Oh yes, it has a clear structure. In fact, I put that here myself. I asked this question myself because this roadmap is not mine. It's not mine at all. I got it from somewhere, one of my scholarship group chats. I got it, but I added mine. I added some points that I thought that they would be important. I thought that they would really matter in reviewing an essay or in writing an essay. So that's it. I added this one myself. Does your IGS flow? Does this does the statement have a good paragraphing method? Yes, it does. Does the statement employ specific examples to demonstrate applicants' accomplishments and qualifications? Yes, it does. There are examples where the person went about talking about their masters, their work experience, what they've achieved. Yes, it does. Next one is, does the statement contain an idea of syllabus? Does it show that the candidates did a little research on available models? Yes, it does. I talked about how a person should write one or two models that are available for the program. So it's written here clearly. It shows that they've done a little research on that program. Does the statement give you a sense of knowing the applicant's motivations in professional and sometimes private life? Oh yes, although this statement doesn't really talk about private life apart from in this paragraph. Yeah, actually they really talked about their private life when they went to the north and how it affected them during their undergraduate. Yeah, it does. So it talks about private and talks about academic life too. Next question is, does the statement avoid recounting the sort of information that would normally be listed in the resume, such as GPA, transcript club membership. Yes, the statement avoided GPA, it avoided transcript details, it avoided club membership, that it avoided CV details too. Next question is the statement easy to read, organized in a straightforward way, and free from grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors? Yes, it is easy and it's organized in a straightforward way, as you can see. So you can add more roadmaps that are important in your personal statement. Add them if you want to make them up to 20, that's nice, but I have 10 here and you can do more. Please, about word counts and about all of this paragraphs, we talked about them. Once again, please go to that video and watch and like and subscribe to the channel. I'm just starting and I really wish that you I would get as many views as these videos deserve. Thank you so much for your time, for your efforts, and for your data you use to sit down here and watch. All right, take care until the next time. Bye.